Hey guys, today we're doing a different type of video. I haven't had that much time recently to make videos, but I've found some now, so decided I want to try something new. This video isn't going to be something that most of you are interested in, but I just wanted to try it, see if I like it. So if you don't like it, then you can click off, no problem, but stick around if you're interested. So today we're going to be doing a VOD review of Top Esports versus DRX. This happened yesterday in group stages. I have not watched this game and I have no idea what's going to happen, so it's going to be a first time watching for me. I'm going to try to be as informative as possible about it, but I'll see how it goes. And yeah, I do have music on in the background. I don't want to have casters talking over me or something like that, so let me know if you guys like the music or think different music or no music, but otherwise let's get into it. For the draft, I'm gonna maybe speed it up a bit. So let's see. Top Esports, first three bands: Lilia, Kate Graves, and DRX Solutions Syndra Ash. So we can clearly see that DRX are banning out two mid laners in the Lucian Syndra, and then the Ash pick. The Ash pick's obviously just really good at the moment, and yeah, Syndra is probably Knight's best champion, Knight being the best mid lane in the world. Obviously Lucian's also quite OP, so you don't want to give that to blue side. And we have Top Esports banning out two junglers and Caitlyn, because they wanted to first pick the Nidalee, and then they didn't want the other team to get Caitlyn in response to them picking Nidalee. So yeah, we have a first pick Nidalee, and DRX respond with TF Lee Sin. I like the TF pick. I think TF's good at the moment. Nidalee into Lee though, I'm not entirely sure why they picked Lee here. It kind of seems unnecessary, really. I mean, they could rather get like a bot lane power pick or something like that. I don't think Lee's too good at the moment. Anyways, Top Esports go for the Renekton. Obviously combos well with Nidalee, but I have not been a fan of Renekton so far this tournament. I don't think he does very much. And they go with the Senna as well. Now, the Senna is obviously just a probably top 3 marksman at the moment. She's just really good at being that weak side marksman, allowing, kind of enabling the jungler really. Something really cool that I actually really like from DRX is the Quinn pick. I think that really punishes Renekton. If you guys don't know this, Quinn hard counters Renekton. If you have ever seen Quinn Renekton, you would know this. Quinn can obviously just blind Renekton and knock him away from her, and obviously just auto her from range. We see DRX come out with two mid bans in the Galio Ori. These are two picks that are good into TF, so it makes sense. And TES go with two bans that counter the Senna in the Airs Callista. Ooh, nice. So we see a Draven coming out. You can see only a 4% pick rate at this tournament. I think it was only picked one other game, so that's pretty cool to see. The Draven can punish Senna in lane. I really like it. I think most people don't pick things that can punish Senna, which means they end up just giving Senna the lane she wants, just a farm lane where she can get stacks and spiral out of control. Okay, so we see the Nocturne pick. Now this is obviously Nocturne mid, so this, in theory, I'm not gonna pretend like I know the matchup mid, but in theory this should be a pretty good pick into the TF. Obviously you can follow him with your ult, and you have a spell shield to block his gold card. So, I actually really like the Nocturne pick coming out from Top Esports. And then we have the Tom Kench. I'm not a huge fan of the Tom Kench. I don't really I mean, I guess the Tom Kench is good against TF because if the gold card is going towards someone, the Tom can eat him, and that gold card does nothing. Tom is pretty good into TF, but Tom blind is kind of dangerous. But then DRX picked the Thresh, which sure, it's okay into Tom, but I think Tom can get countered a lot harder with something like a Bard or a Zyra, Lux, something like that, like a scaling pick. But the Thresh is okay. So, just to round out the draft, I think that I like the Quinn answer into Renekton. It does mean you have a marksman top, which is not something people always like going, because you kind of you lack frontline then. And you can see that in DRX's comp, they have 0 tanks besides for maybe a Lee Sin, and I don't really count Thresh as a tank. And they don't have that good engage either. It's gonna be on TF, R-ing, or some hooks coming out from Thresh, and some insane Lee kicks. Nothing reliable like an Ornald, for example. So I'm not a huge fan of DRX's comp as a whole. I do like these punishers. I like that they're picking Draven to counter the Senna, and I like that they are picking the Quinn to counter the Renekton, but I don't know. It still seems like it doesn't really have everything you need in a comp. It also is quite AD heavy. I mean, we have 3 AD champions here, obviously, and a TF. TF, obviously he does AP, but he's not exactly like a 1v9 character. He's mainly for the mid-game destinies and a stun bot with gold card. Top comp, I have said I don't like Renekton, but the pairing here, Renekton Lily, is good. So, I mean, they have that going for them. But the Renekton did get counted. So, now the onus is on Doran, on obviously Quinn, to make a mistake in this matchup so that Nidalee can counter. I really like the Nocturne pick into TF, and yeah, once again, slightly AD heavy on both teams actually. You can see triple AD, but they do have the Nidalee, but kind of similar to the TF in a way where she's not like a 1v9 champion, just kind of hitting one person with a spear. And Tom Kench is okay against TF. Oh shit. It's okay into TF, but yeah, not really a fan of the Tom. I think he could have been punished harder than Thresh. But yeah, overall, judging from the draft, I think that Doran is not the best top laner, where 369 could be argued to be. He's at least top 3 in the world, but probably the best top laner in the world. So I don't know if Doran's going to be able to punish 369 on the counter. And I'm not a fan of Lee Sin Quinn as a 2v2. Obviously Renekton Lily beats that. So I'm gonna be going for TES's comp here, Top Esports. I just think the Nocturne pick is super cool, and I think that their top 2v2 is better than DRX's. And yeah, I just think DRX's comp lacks engage, reliable engage, and yeah. Also the Senna is obviously good with Renekton as well, and Senna's good with any dive champs like Renekton, Nocturne, Nidalee, because she can just sit back and ult and heal them up. She has long range and whatever. So yeah, I think that's overall my thoughts on the draft. Hope it was informative enough. And yeah, like I said, prefer TES comp here. Yeah, let's get into the draft. I mean, into the game. So let's see. Okay, cool. I'm gonna have the game on a slightly higher speed. Not too fast, but don't want to necessarily watch in normal. Could be a bit long. So here we see a. Let's move this a bit. We see a coal start from. I will talk about that now. So we have Electrocute rune page coming out from 9th. So he clearly thinks he can win this 1v1 against Chovy. So they must have prepared this Nocturne pick for TF. And he went for the second win, helps him sustain a bit in the mid lane against the TF. And here we immediately see how much pressure the Quinn can have against Renekton. She went for the cleanse, which is kind of necessary, I think, against the Renekton, because the only way the Renekton wins is if he can stun her and then like Nidalee comes up and ganks. So the cleanse is good, I think. But yeah, we'll see how that matchup goes. He also started Cole. That's many of you might think, well, why don't you just start D-Blade? You get the extra AD and you know it just helps you win lane a bit harder. Yes, that's true, but the Cole, you don't, as a range top laner like Quinn into Renekton, you don't really need the extra AD. Like you could just get away with a greedy Cole and then you get it even more like lane advantage against the Renekton. So I think the Cole's really cool. Yeah, so we see Halo Blades Draven, kind of standard. Nice hook from Carrier coming out. See if they can turn this into a kill. Fortunately not. Tom's a bit tanky. So, yeah. Senna's actually winning on farm in this lane, which is quite surprising, because I don't think Thresh Draven should have early Brio in this lane. Ooh, nice eat coming out for Yuanjia. That's exactly why they picked the Tom, I guess. I think I might just put it on normal. Like I said, guys, my first time doing this, so not gonna be too perfect. I might also pause if I want to talk more about something in depth. So we see the Draven's actually losing pretty hard in this matchup, surprising. We see Dorian going in, Piosik coming for the gank, flash. Piosik misses the Q, but flashes in. I mean, Renekton actually used TP. He must have backed and then come back to lane. So this is actually massive. Look at this huge wave they're crashing. DRX. Renekton loses all that because he doesn't have TP. Well, that means 369 must have gone really chunked. I didn't see that, my bad. The observers also didn't really show us, but yeah. That's interesting. Here we see Chovy trading quite well into Knight, but doesn't really mean anything. Chovy's gonna TP back here, there's no way he doesn't. And Knight, I think he will too. Unless he saves it. Okay, yeah. No, both of them TP back, I was right. Okay, so at the moment we have Quinn still winning the 1v1, that's expected. They did get a nice kill on the top lane, and she is now quite far ahead. She has a Vampire Acceptor against a Cloth Armor. So, all's good for Quinn. Still quite surprising to me that Draven is so far behind in CS. I think I could be wrong, maybe I'm uninformed, but I think that that should be a winning lane for Draven, but we'll see how it goes. You see DRX already has a 1k lead, gold lead, that is probably mostly in Quinn and Lee, because he got the kill. That's interesting. Okay, Yanja maybe. Nah, still the Tom Kench doesn't get punished for that. Nice spear from Corsa. That doesn't really mean anything. Nocturne doesn't have a way to really lock down that TF. Nocturne's going up. You could maybe look for a ult. Would be a bit difficult since 369 doesn't have flash, so you can't really get reliably onto Doran. And I mean Doran has Clint. So here we go. Persic getting a Drake. This is obviously good for DRX. Their comp kinda needs to snowball. They have a very snowbally comp in fact. Oh, okay, Knight going in. Flashes over. Okay, so trade flash. Ooh, Classer doesn't have the damage. He got exhausted. Actually really nice spell usage from Chovy there. Swaps to the exhaust just before that happens. Gets the exhaust off on Nidley, which means he lives. Very nice. You can see TF's actually also winning on farm against the Nocturne, which it's not too surprising. I don't think it is still a range v melee matchup, and Chovy is probably the best laner in the world, so not all that surprising. Still seeing a CS deficit in the bot lane, quite surprising. Once again, quite baffled as you can tell. 10 CS lead for Quinn in the top lane. It's kinda small, but I mean I guess the wave is bouncing back through. But it's not as big as you would want it to be, I think. We would have to see a bit more of the lane to really know what's happening. But yeah, good job by 369 so far, minimalizing the deficit. TF roaming up. Could just be covering Doran there. If Nidley went for a gank, then TF would be there. But now he's going back to mid. Well, Draven Thresh stuck on a tower. Very interesting. I'd like to see Lee Sin being a bit more active in this game. I think he could have maybe done a bit more bot side. I know he got the Drake, but maybe ganking bot side would be nice. He does have good setup from the Thresh, and I mean Draven does have the knock. Piershik going in. Okay. I mean, don't know what Knight's doing there. Guess they don't know where Lee was. It's quite surprising. But yeah. Nice punish coming out from Chovy and Piershik. Quinn, 15 CS up. It's kinda decent. Not too crazy though. 15 CS up for TF as well. I didn't actually. Okay, nice. DRX managed to get that lantern out. Do have to flash. Okay. TES do get the kill, but I'm pretty sure you take that. It's only Thresh for a Rift Herald. It's not like his first blood or anything. So I think it's a worthwhile trade. You could see both ADCs going for the Manamune build. We'll probably see Draven go into Sanguine Blade as well off that. That's the new standard build, which you guys might not know about, but yeah. You see the Lucidity boots coming out from Nocturne. Now that's something very interesting. I'm trying to think why you would go that. It's not like he has Transcendence or some crazy shit like that. He also has the Tiamat for some obviously extra wave clear, which is nice. Obviously as Nocturne you wanna get prior and then try roam. Game's kinda quite slow actually. TES and DRX are kinda renowned for their fast early games, so only 3 kills at 10 minutes is quite slow for them. DRX do have quite a big gold lead though, and the Draven will by now have quite a few stacks, so if he cashes in, that gold lead will grow exponentially. So not looking too good for TES at the moment, even though I did say I like their draft more, but we'll see. Lee does have 2 kills. Nidalee not doing incredibly well. Good hook from Carrier. If Draven cashes in here, that's really bad. But Knight's there. This should be a kill, yes. Kill goes over to Jackie Love. Nice punish from Jackie Love. Like the roam from Knight as well. But Chovy is really getting far ahead in the mid 1v1. Obviously just a kill. They do use the TP from Renekton. At this point in time, Renekton doesn't want to be top. But yeah, TES get 2 kills, but you could see the gold lead, it's still gonna be there for DRX. They're gonna get first tower top. They've been able to circ farm mid whilst Nocturne was by. So even though yes, it's 2 kills, don't be deceived. DRX were able to get a lot off of that. So it's a nice trade coming out from them. They didn't try and get there on time and then end up wasting their time. And this is something you'll see some of the, well, a lot of the best teams in the world do, is they will know when something is just unsalvageable and they can just get advantages other side of the map. Some teams that do that really well are G2, Fnatic and Gen.G, but obviously most teams at the highest levels should be doing things like that. But it's something Fnatic are incredibly good at, knowing when to give up towers and stuff like that and gain advantages other places. So you see a 3k gold lead coming out from DRX. So that dive in some ways wasn't really worth TES's time. See the Quin's up 10 CS, not really big enough I think for the Quinn pick to really be justified. They do get the first top tower, I guess, but yeah, I think Quinn can win that matchup a lot harder. But like I said, the player diff is quite big. Doran to 369. Not that Doran's like awful, but it is one of DRX's weak points. So we see there are a lot of ages coming out for TF. This is quite standard. Very good item. Obviously it gives you AP, health, just gives you kind of everything. Lee Sin going for the Black Cleaver, I think this is good. He does have 3 AD members on his team, including himself obviously. So the Black Cleaver is nice. I think often people will build Black Cleaver on champions without really thinking whether it's good or not, but I think in this game it is. Pioshek going in, interesting. Guess it's the poke Lee Sin. Considerable lane lead, mid lane, with TF over Nocturne. Bot lane, still Senna favored. Draven hasn't cashed in, he did lose some stacks in the dive, which is kind of a plus for TES, I guess. Even on Drakes at the moment, I would say DRX have the better standalone Drake. I think the ult cooldown would be nice for Draven mostly, and I guess Lee Sin slightly. TF, many people might think it's good, but you're not really ulting off of cooldown for TF, so it's not really a big deal. But Draven, you can use the ult to clear waves, and obviously it's just always something you can use off cooldown. So it's actually 35 CS lead mid for TF, down to 30 now, but it's pretty considerable. Maybe this Nocturne pick isn't that great. Once again, Chovy is the best laner in the world though, so. But Knight is the best player in the world, so this is actually one of the more pristine matchups in the tournament. It's, to many people, the first and second best mid laners in the world. So, yeah. Game's still quite slow, nothing too much happening. See Chovy TP to the bot lane, clear a wave, run to the blue buff. Does deny that farm that he pushes in under tower. It's not too major. Quinn still top side, just applying pressure. This is what DRX's comp want to do though, is very much a 1-3-1 comp with Quinn and TF. TF obviously being able to port into fights, making it really good. For those of you who don't know, TF isn't exactly like a... He's a split pusher, but not in the conventional sense. TF doesn't like win the 1v1 in the side lane, but he will clear waves, just stay safe, and then ult or TP into a fight. And that's all you need him to do really. And Quinn obviously goes hard in this 1v1, that's why you pick it. See, 369 backing here, he's probably gonna look for a TP into this fight. Yep, there's a TP from Renekton. There should be a fight here. Okay, Caster steals the Drake, that's really big. Renekton going in. Q on Renekton from Lee. Nocturne ult. There we go, the knockdown damage is just too high. Hook coming out from Carrier. Nice eat from Yuanjia. So, TES managed to get away with a Drake there. Nearly with a nice steal. We'll have to see the replay there actually. But yeah, that's actually really big for TES. They do, I would say, they don't scale all that well on TES, but I don't think DRX does either. It's kind of weird. But I think, let's actually look at this fight. So here we see Renekton actually backing in the top lane. As I said earlier, he is gonna look to TP on this ward. DRX have obviously started the Drake already, and they're still waiting for Quinn to come in. So here we see actually Knight. If you look at the mini map, I know it's maybe a bit small, but we have Knight on the flank. He's gonna be looking for an ult, and yeah, quite a nice play from Knight, I would say. But let's see how it unfolds. So hook misses from Carrier, TP coming in, Casa going in. Ooh, early smite from Pure Shake. It's a 50-50, unlucky. Knight goes in, absolutely melts Doran. Now that is the problem with the Quinn, she doesn't offer all that much in the team fight. And Jackie Love's just able to free farm. This is exactly what I thought in the draft. I think that DRX just don't have much going for them in terms of comp, I would say. I think the Quinn kinda doesn't do all that much except win the 1v1. Okay, Knight. Okay. Nice response from Chovy, very quick on the Destiny gate. But TS to respond with the kill, so not that big of a deal really. It's the mid laner for the top, so it's whatever. See, Jackie Love's quite fed. Draven still hasn't cashed in. Draven has really panned out. I think that the Lee Sin had to invest a lot more into that lane. Okay, 369 going in. Carrier kind of getting caught out here. Nice hook. Can they turn this into the kill? Probably not. Still Draven goes without cashing in, so it's a big deal. Lee Sin pretty big at the moment. We see Nidley going for the themes, something I spoke about in the Planes Thoughts video. If you want to go see what I had to say about Nidley itemization, then I did talk about that in that video. Here we see DRX collapsing onto Renekton. This should be a kill quite easily. Nice. 369 doesn't have vision of bot side besides the river ward. Kinda a bit greedy. I think he must have thought he's safe enough with his tower. But Nocturne will be able to pressure top. Chovy TPing to the tier 2 top lane. That's because he knows if he TPs to the tier 1 he can get dove by the Nocturne, and the Nocturne has a Dusk Blade, so he's quite a beefy boy. TPing coming in from Knight. They're looking to collapse on Doran here. Can Doran get out? Doran goes that way. Doran should be dead. Nice. Use of globals there, we can see obviously the center ult didn't do damage, but it's there for the assist. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that play from TES. Like, you waste TP on Knight to get a kill. You can't really turn that into any objective or anything, but I guess it's cute. I think Quinn was backing off anyway, she didn't want to finish that tower, so... They do get mid tower, so maybe it is worth it, but... Tom Gench taking the blue, very nice. Knight gets the back off. There we go, we see the Sanguine Blade on Draven, like I said. This is quite standard at the moment. Black Cleaver coming out from Renekton, also quite fine I think. Your team's also got 380, so I think it's good. But Nocturne's also going Black Cleaver, which is decent. It's not ideal, I would say. I'd rather like to see some more lethality go on the Nocturne, but it's okay. Okay, DRX going for a Baron trade. Looks like they're pulling off though. Or they're committing. Okay, they're committing for this. They think TES just goes Drake here, so it's quite a nice move from DRX. Does mean TES get pulled off of Drake, and if they did end up going for the Drake, they would have gone a free Baron. So it's quite a cute play, but I don't know. TES will probably still get it. See if DRX can use Nidley being on Drake to their advantage. Looks like they could be looking for a kill onto Renekton. Doran staying out of vision. There we see he's going into the bush. Stun guard onto Renekton. Nocturne coming in. Nice center ult. Nice kick from Lee Sin. Gets stunned by the Renekton though. Not too good. And I think this should be game after this. That was kind of a desperation play from DRX, I would say. They went for the cheeky Baron play, but didn't really work out. TES read them like a book. Ended up sending Nidley to solo it, and then they knew DRX were looking for the play. See Deft, still no stacks for the Draven, hasn't really panned out. But yeah. Nidley does have a CS lead, but it's kind of to be expected at this point in the game. Lee Sin's teammates will be taking the farm, and Nidley will be given some farm, I would say. So we see Nocturne ult coming straight in, Tom ulting in as well. Some nice global usage coming out from TES with the Nocturne ult and the Tom ult. Obviously the center one as well for good measure. Nice read from Top Esports. you can see the game's actually been very even for most of the game. Only going up to a 2.6k gold lead, which isn't that big. But top esports have just the better draft, I would say. I think maybe some others would argue against that. Like Knight could get caught off here. Does have flash. Does use it. Renekton coming in for the TP. Let's see if they can do anything. Tom coming in with the ult. Jackie Love in. Nidley in. So 4v5. Renekton flashes onto Chovy. Doesn't work out for him. Gets kicked into the team. Nice kick from Prioshek. Okay, there should be a DRX teamfight win. Draven finally gets a shutdown. Massive 700 gold going into his pocket. Chovy TPing to bot lane, catching the wave. Very nice. I think top esports bit off more than they could chew over there, and that could actually be the game. Kind of just a game of two throws, we could call it. So they should get... Yeah, this is just overextending from Knight, and then they could just back off here. They don't need to. But Renekton goes in for the play, flashes onto Chovy, but Chovy has Rod of Aegis, and I think he has Zhonya's, which means he has some armor. Could also have, I would be surprised if he doesn't have tabbies. Not really keeping track with items too well. But yeah, DRX just punishing the mistake. Okay, he does have the Zhonya's, but he does not have the tabbies. I think the Lucidity boots are still fine. Still curious as to why Nocturne has Lucidity boots. Maybe for the spell shield. I'm not too sure. But that's just because I don't know how Nocturne mid works all that well, so sorry. See, Chovy is quite fed. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Well, another throw in this game by DRX. That should result in the Mountain Drake, Mountain Soul actually going over to top esports, which is kind of a... It's pretty good because it means the armor they have on their team just gets better because shields get resistances as well. So the 4 tabbies they have on their team become infinitely better. Obviously mounted drakes are pretty good. Doran playing with fire, but he'll get out. See Draven taking into the Mortal Reminder. Obviously that's because they have mostly armor on the side of top esports. The Randuins, Zhonya's, 4 tabbies, Guardian's Angel. It's just exactly what I thought would happen into this DRX comp. Okay, Chovy joining with ult. Not using it to flank. Chovy kind of just face tanking a bunch of abilities. Hook goes wide. Ult coming down from carrier. Not gonna do all that much. And DRX managed to get the Drake. I think that this is just a bit of a steal from DRX. I don't think Knight just never uses ult there. Neither does C369, because they just think they can't win that. Could be right. Chovy's miles ahead of the Nocturne in CS, but Nocturne I guess is quite low economy. Champion doesn't need all that much gold. We have the Magi's coming out from TF. This is something that has kind of been standardized by pro players, and the items actually just pretty good. It gives move speed, obviously a lot of AP, quite cost effective. So yeah. As it stands, DRX have a 3k gold lead. Not too crazy. At this point in the game, gold leads don't mean as much because most people are kind of on the same amount of items. You will see DRX do have like a few more stopwatches or like crit cloaks or something like that, but they don't have any huge item. Chovy ulting. Will they go in? Chovy going in for the flank. Instantly gets punished by Knight. Has to flash away. That's kind of big. He does have the cleanse still, Chovy. Chovy's a rapid fire, able to get a stun on 369. Cutting away our DRX. Hook lands for the carrier. Lantern won't be able to be clicked. And this should just be a TES Baron. I don't think they can necessarily, unless they get more kills. Okay, they will just end the game here, I think. I don't know. I don't think they'll bother with Baron. Yeah, Yuandria will tank for a bit, but this should be a TS game. Quite a scrappy game, really. I think both teams had some throwable moments. So, but ultimately, I think it does come a bit down to drafts. I think DRX had to wait for TES to make a mistake, and when you rely on the tournament favorites to make a mistake, who knows? Okay, so I ended up being correct in my draft prediction. I don't know, think quite some big throws coming out from both teams. We could look at some stats here if we want. So Quinn had a minor gold lead, nothing too massive. It is Renekton over early game champ. I think this matchup should be quite interesting. You know, TF obviously has pretty big gold lead, did more damage, but it's Nocturne, he's just assassinating one person. I think this is the most notable matchup though. 100% kill participation from Senna and just 2k more gold than Draven. More damage. Yeah. Draven pick didn't really work out. I think the Lee Sin should have been more active in the bot lane. But yeah, guess in summary, I think both teams had some pretty big throws, but ultimately the draft coming out from TES was just a bit better. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and obviously this was my first VOD review. I'm sure I can do a lot better, but hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.